Greetings, and welcome to the Preconditional Protocols and Orientation Video System tape of Unit 13. As a part of the U.S. Army, Project Stargate, created by the partnership of Remake USA. On behalf of all of us here at Unit 13, congrats on the selection as a testing candidate. You likely have questions, and this tape is designed to answer them all. First, let's get some background info about Unit 13 and Project Stargate to see how viable you are. We are sure you have heard a lot of rumors about what we do here, but we are willing to bet that most of them are wrong. Being a highly confidential part of Project Stargate, which you have been briefed on. Unit 13 studies the revolutionary part of promising an area of parapsychology. Thought forms. If you are not aware of what is a thought form, that is okay, you're in the majority. So, what are thought forms? Throughout history, occultists and spiritualists, Tibetan monks, and theosophists have exercised the creation of what some know as a tapla, otherwise known as a thought form. A thought form is the manifestation of someone's will, emotion, or other deeply psychological energized state into a semi-physical state. Not only existing into a person but is capable of being its own sentient entity. Thought forms can also be witnessed by other people, and is not limited by the person who had manifested them. Thought forms can be served as familiars, companions, or even friends and family to ones who had manifested them. According to key literature, thought forms can be formed by one person or a group of people, though they can be undeniably formed as well. Though they are always manifested by the deep will and focusedness by the person who is forming them, through the heightened state of connectivity by one's consciousness. Traditional thought forms can vary widely in their level of influence through the real world, while they will eventually gain their physical form eventually. Their earliest stages are translucent in nature with a brief manifestations, though it's most often an unseen essence, similar like a phantom or a ghost. At this phase, thought forms and ghosts are eerily similar in a number of ways. People can make contact with them through communication devices, such as an Ouija board or an EVP sessions, while a thought form might move objects, manipulate electronics or speaking word or short phrases. Due to the striking similarities, the current theory in Unit 13 is that though of what we know, as ghosts may not be as common as what we believed, instead of the thought of life after death, it is possible and indeed most likely that these paranormal entities are actually thought forms and intentionally created by the family member who is grieving. In other words, as this is the ideal way to create thought forms, people might as well make their own ghost and hauntings. However, as more time and energy is invested into the thought form, it leads to it changing into its own individual. This is where Unit 13 comes into play. It is to answer a very important question. Can thought forms be created in a manner that would benefit the American society, and can help American cities and citizens safe? Unfortunately, the practice of intentionally creating a thought form with traditional methods would take years and years of mental training, so Project Stargate has enlisted a world authority into thought forms, a man named Dr. Bernard Hayes, to oversee the number of operations and tests of Unit 13's work. His part, as a patient, has been invaluable and has brought great results with the project. Due to Unit 13 and Remake USA's combined efforts, bringing together some of the brilliant minds in the world, specializing in the human consciousness, with cutting-edge technology and engineering methods, to create the ultimate invention. Introducing the Thought Form Manifester. The Thought Form Manifester is able to create truly independent entities from the human minds of select willing participants. Being that they would come from the deepest regions of the human mind, thought forms could convert into any configuration. They could potentially look like a person, object, animal, or even something as abstract as a human emotion. Though that being said, we would recommend to brace yourself before entering the thought form chambers, as they could also manifest something disturbing in nature, like a creature one could see in a dream or a nightmare. There is no reason to be afraid, however. All thought forms are docile in nature, and while they might look threatening in behavior as well as physical contact, they are not a threat to humans. Once your session in the thought form manifester is over, your thought form is going to be secured into a containment chamber. They won't be able to pass the barrier of the chamber and is not going to cause any issues. There are some rare side effects that may result in your session. These side effects includes increase of tiredness, loss of balance, dizziness, insomnia, vomiting, episode of temporary amnesia, and mild hallucinations. These side effects, if present, will clear up in 72 hours of your session, and are signs of your brain recalibrating to reality. It is recommended that you refrain from driving or operating heavy equipment for 72 hours after your session, even if you experience no side effects. None of these side effects should cause you any harm, however, and some testing candidates said that these side effects are very mild and a slight inconvenience. With all that out of the way, we are excited that you might be a part of Unit 13, and your appointment with the Thought Form Manifester has been scheduled. However, there are a few required mind exercises that must be completed before your scheduled date, ensuring the highest quality results. Please enter the tape labeled TF to Waking Your Subconscious. Now, this is the end of this tape.